Why, hello there. Today we are going to talk about my past, present, and future of books. What I've recently finished, what I'm in the middle of, and what we're going to get into. So, here we go. What I finished recently was First Fly Wins, and that was by Ashley Elston. And it's a thriller. It's about this character named Evie Porter. The only thing about Evie Porter is she doesn't exist. So our main character is like a undercover thief slash, I don't know, she kind of does espionage, and she does whatever jobs that her boss throws at her, whether it's to ruin someone's reputation or take over their business or remove someone from a job or steal a painting, whatever. That's what she's been doing. She's been doing it for years and kind of fell into it at a younger age. And so she's doing her latest job. She meets this guy, his name's Ryan Sumner. She starts to fall for him, which is bad news bears because you don't fall for your mark. You're trying to do a job that involves this guy, which is probably gonna ruin him, and you definitely shouldn't fall for him. But also, she had messed up this previous job, so if she fails this, she's probably gonna be killed by her boss. It's fast-paced. It was a quick read for me. It's a bigger book, but I read through it pretty quick, and it was all right. I didn't really feel much of a connection to the characters, and it was more, I really wanted more show me than a lot of it was like telling you what happened, like after the fact, but I think I would like to have been more in it. But it was just a solid good. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't bad. It was good. All right, so currently I'm in the middle the hilarious book, and I love it. It is If You Can't Take the Heat by Geraldine DeRuiter, and she is a food writer. She has a blog called Everywhereist. I can put a link down to that below if you want to check it out, and I'll have a link to that book as well, and that is an affiliate link, which is a great way to support the channel and to support indie bookstores. So this book, it is funny, and it's about food and growing up and the taking down the patriarchy and feminism, and it's so good so far. And it's funny because she gets into the book and talking about her first food memories and how a lot of all these chefs will be like, oh, it was like something super fancy schmancy, this, that, and the other, and hers is like, she remembers a tube that was on the sink and she grasped it with her chubby biscuit hands and started squeezing mint toothpaste into her mouth. And that was her first food memory. And it was hilarious. And so that gives you a little bit of like a taste of what this book's gonna be like. And it's fan-frickin-tastic. And she starts getting into all different stuff about like going on dates, you know, for the first time. And when you go out with a guy, like talking about like either splitting the bill or paying for the bill or letting them pay, and if you let them pay, feeling like that she owed them something and whatnot, and how like society's perceptions have seeped into our brains of how stuff supposedly should be, this, that, and the other. And she talks about gender, and she talks about like all this stuff, and it's so good, and I love it. It's like rough and gritty and funny, and the thing with the toothpaste too, because it got me thinking, I'm like, what's my first memory? Like, what is some of the foods I remember eating first in life? My brain just kept going back to, besides eating Play-Doh, which I'm sure I ate at a young age and I remember it tasting kind of doughy and salty, but Big Boy's spaghetti. I loved Big Boy's spaghetti when I was a kid. We would go there on special occasions and I always got their spaghetti. I loved it. I don't know. That was my first food memory that I can think of. So I would highly recommend it. I am about halfway through so far, and it's absolutely fantastic. Now, that's what I've read and I'm in the middle of. Let me tell you what I'm gonna get into. All right, so we are getting into the next book in the Dark Tower series, The Drawing of the Three by Stephen King. And yeah, this one's a bit longer than the first one, which is cool. Starting to get more into Stephen King chunky sized. All right, so let me tell you a little about this one. If you don't already know, you might. But if you don't, here we go. Taking place mere hours following the dramatic events seen in The Gunslinger, The Drawing of Three continues with Roland of Gilead on his solitary quest for the Dark Tower, leading him to a seemingly endless stretch of beach along the Western Sea, a terrain filled with unearthly monstrosities that mean certain death if he lets his guard down. But there are other mysteries along this desolate shoreline as well. 3 arcane doorways standing freely in the sand and cryptically designated as the Prisoner, the Lady of Shadows, and the Pusher. Each one is a portal to our world's New York City at different points in time. And each one is complete with its own set of dangers that could spell the end of Roland's journey. The world has moved on, and the tower draws ever closer. Dun dun dun. I cannot wait to get into this. I really like the first one. I know a lot of people are like, it's kind of slow, it's not as good as the other ones. I thought it set the stage nicely, and I really enjoyed it. So super excited for this one because I've heard a lot of people say this one's even better. So can't wait. Okay, so after that, I picked up a collection of short stories I've been meaning to get for a while, and that is Never Whistle at Night, and it is a collection of Indigenous dark fiction, and the intro is written by Stephen Graham Jones. So let me tell you a little bit about this. So many Indigenous people believe one should never whistle at night. It can cause evil spirits to appear and even follow you home. Those wholly original and shiver-inducing tales introduce readers to ghosts, curses, hauntings, monstrous creatures, complex family legacies, desperate deeds, and chilling acts of revenge. Introduced and contextualized by best-selling author Stephen Graham Jones, these stories are a celebration of Indigenous people's survival and imagination, and a glorious reveling in all the things an ill-advised whistle might summon. So I'm looking forward to reading that one. And I mean, look at that cover. You love it? I love it. It's pretty good. Okay, so this next one I just picked up because, as I've said many times before, I am influenced by people on Instagram. I saw this one around, The Woods All Black by Lee Mandello. What's it about? I don't even know. I literally got it because I saw it on social media quite a bit, so I just grabbed it. And it's a novella, so, you know, short and sweet. Let's have some story time. The Woods All Black is equal parts historical horror, trans romance, and blood-soaked revenge, all set in the 1920s Appalachia. Leslie Bruin is assigned to the backwoods township of Spar Creek by the Frontier Nursing Service under its usual mandate: vaccinate the flock, birth babies, and weather judgments of churchy locals who look at him and see a failed woman. Forged in the fires of the Western Front and reborn in the cafes of Paris, Leslie believes he can handle whatever is thrown at him. But Spar Creek holds a darkness beyond his nightmares. Something ugly festers within the local congregation, and its malice is focused on a young person they insist is an unruly tomboy who must be brought to heel. Violence is bubbling when Leslie arrives, ready to spill over, and he'll have to act fast if he intends to be of use. But the hills enfolding Spar Creek have a mind of their own, and the woods are haunted in ways Leslie does not understand. The Woods All Black is a story of passion, prejudice, and power, an Appalachian period piece that explores reproductive justice and bodily autonomy, the terrors of small-town religiosity, and the necessity of fighting tooth and claw to live as who you truly are. And let me just say, small-town religiosity is creepy because it can be almost cult-like and real effed up. So I'm excited for all of those. I think I'm most excited for the Dark Tower book because I can't wait to see where we're going next. We are going to read this series. We got some horror coming up, some fantasy, all kinds of good stuff. If you are a fan of videos where I talk about multiple books I've been reading or have read, the next video coming up will be about that, so stick around, check it out. And if you had fun hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.